Thank you for taking some time for yourself. It's interesting to know that approximately 60% of Australian veterans have complex chronic disease management needs. Around 80% of those who have transitioned from the Defence Force report some level of pain, and nearly 46% have experienced a mental health condition within the past 12 months. And I wonder whether hearing those numbers changes anything. Because if thousands of highly trained men and women are experiencing the exact same glitch, perhaps the question isn't whether you're fundamentally broken. Perhaps the more interesting question is whether your nervous system has simply been doing its job way too well. It's like leaving a highly elite, heavily armed commando unit to guard a suburban Coles. They're gonna start treating the soccer mums like hostile combatants eventually. And that's not a character flaw. That's just an asset allocation problem. Take a comfortable breath. You don't have to relax. In fact, feel free to stay as hypervigilant as you like for a moment. You don't have to try. You don't have to make anything happen. In fact, it isn't necessary to listen carefully to every single word I say, because your unconscious mind can hear everything that is useful and safely ignore the rest as standard background noise. And that's perfectly okay. One of the first things you can become aware of is the support beneath you, the chair holding you up, the floor supporting the chair, the foundation supporting the room. You aren't required to hold the building up today. The engineering is already handling it. And I wonder if you've noticed that your body already knows how to stand down, even if it's just by 0.5%, perhaps sooner than you expect. I'd like you to touch your thumb and finger together, just like that. Perfect. And perhaps you wouldn't mind noticing a small, steady feeling of being grounded in the present coordinate, a feeling of control. Not because you have to force it, but because right here, right now, the perimeter is secure. And your unconscious mind can begin associating this simple gesture with safety, with stability, with coming back to the base clinic again and again. Perfect. Before we look at anything from the past, I'd like you to acknowledge a glaring piece of evidence. The person sitting in this chair today survived every single bad day, bad command, and terrible ration pack that came before. Every deployment, every setback, every moment when you were running on pure caffeine and spite, unsure if you could keep going, and yet you're here. Which means resilience isn't some corporate buzzword from a wellness seminar. For you, it's a documented survival record. And perhaps you can notice that undeniable fact now. And as you sit here, anchored by that steady touch of finger and thumb. I wonder if your unconscious mind can display a massive, thick plane of ballistic safety glass directly in front of you. Bulletproof, blast-proof, absolute containment. And way out beyond that glass, miles away, is an old historical archive. Not the trauma, not the event, just a dusty, obsolete tactical computer terminal that keeps running an outdated program. I don't want you to look at what's on the screen, I just want you to notice from this immense, safe distance how stupid that machine over there keeps trying to send a legacy warning signal to the body sitting over here. Just notice the signal's arrival. I don't know if it's a spike in the chest, a defensive perimeter tightening in the stomach, a rigid bracing of the shoulders. Become curious about the mechanics of the system while remaining completely outside its blast radius. Perfect. And looking at that signal from the absolute safety of your observation deck. If that mechanical alarm had a structural shape, what shape would it be? If it had a flashlight warning light, what color would it be? And if that automated, unthinking system could speak its programming, what is the old logic it keeps repeating? Does it loop the command, the perimeter is breached? Does it repeat, trust no one on the grid? Does it insist if you switch off everyone dies? Notice that these are just lines of old code, old data packets looping on a machine that hasn't received its software update yet. It's not your identity, undetected. It's just a undeleted file clogging up the hard drive. And perhaps the most ridiculous glitch in this survival software is how it tries to take a specific historical deployment and turn it into a permanent universal standing order. It takes just one coordinate set from one specific year and tries to map it onto your current living room, your grocery store, your quiet moments. It treats a past tactical environment as a lifetime posting. And I wonder whether that old general order still deserves a budget, or whether that security program has just been running on autopilot, simply because the bureaucracy forgot to sign the decommissioning papers. The mission ended. The computer just didn't get the logout command. And now, from behind that thick plane of ballistic glass, looking down from a completely detached command tower, allowing your unconscious mind to review the declassified file of that survival era. You're not in the film. You are the cynical historian reviewing it. Watch it like a low-resolution, grainy, black and white training tape from decades ago. A film about an operational unit that did exactly what they had to do to survive. A film about someone who endured. And as you watch that historical figure on the screen, notice a stark, undeniable fact. The operation depicted in that film concluded. The troops withdrew, the sector is clear, yet the automated alarm system in the bunker back home kept spinning its radar, frenetically scanning a sky where there are no more targets. Let's face it, your PTSD is remarkably dedicated. Give it a performance review. And if it gets 5 stars for effort, never late, never takes a rostered day off, never calling in sick because it has a hangover. 3 o'clock in the morning, you're safe in bed, in a peaceful suburb. No enemy, no incoming rounds, no immediate threat whatsoever. Yet your internal security department is still out there conducting full combat patrols in the hallway, checking the locks for the 14th time, and preparing an ambush by the neighbour's cat. It's very loyal. This PTSD has been very committed, but frankly, it's completely exhausted, and it's running up a massive overtime bill. And perhaps you can appreciate the effort of that inner security guard, while also gently informing them that the war is over, the contract has expired, and they're legally allowed to go to the pub. And if there is any old toxic fluid that needs to be drained from the radiator, allow it. If there are heavy emotions, let the pressure valve release. If there are tears, consider it a necessary system flush. If there is anger, let it burn off safely in the exhaust. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to put a brave face on for anyone here. Just allow whatever needs to move out past that blast glass. Perfect. And now I wonder if you'll enjoy noticing something shift. The history remains in the archive. We aren't erasing the logbooks, yet the emotional burden is actively separating from it. Almost as if the weight is being unbuckled. The memory remains, but the suffering attached to it is dissolving into the background noise. Like finally dropping a 50-kilo pack after a 20-kilometre march. The road you walked is still back there, but you are no longer required to carry the gear. And I wonder whether your unconscious mind has begun. noticing a massive misdiagnosis in your past. You survived, which means that old story was never about weakness. It was always about highly successful adaptation. You weren't broken, you were properly armored. You weren't failing, you were maintaining the watch. You weren't weak, you were just carrying a payload that would have crushed a civilian in 5 minutes. And perhaps you'll remember those numbers from earlier. 60%, 88%, 46%. Thousands of veterans, all experiencing the exact same mechanical feedback. And I wonder whether that proves you were never uniquely damaged or uniquely screwed up. Perhaps you were just experiencing a completely normal biological response to a very abnormal, hostile set of circumstances. And that's a very different story. And I'd like you to discover something now. The image of yourself that actually knows how to take a knee. The image of yourself that knows how to rest, how to stand down, and how to enjoy civilian life without checking the tree line. Notice that version of you becoming clearer, more solid, more real. Perhaps you'll enjoy noticing that this present day reality feels a lot more true than that old looped tape. And sooner or later, I don't know just when, perhaps 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, you'll find yourself in a situation that used to automatically trip the wire. A loud noise, a crowded room, or a sudden change in plans. And you just wait for it. You wait for the adrenaline spike. You wait for the alarm to scream. And it doesn't arrive. Or maybe it just gives a tiny half-hearted beep and then shuts up. Or maybe it just gives a tiny half-beat of beep and then shuts up. Because your nervous system finally received the official signal from the high command. The mission ended. The alarm didn't. And now the alarm can finally turn off its engine and reset. Whenever you touch your thumb and finger together, your physiology remembers this exact coordinate of calm. Your breathing drops into a steady rhythm. Your thinking clears. Your awareness returns to the absolute safety of the present moment. You recognize safety when safety is actually here. You recognize a memory is just a file, not a threat. You respond from today, not from years ago. And these updates continue automatically, without effort, without trying to force it, simply because your brain likes running efficient software. And now it's time to log off from that archive and return to the present, bringing back only the strength and the lessons, leaving the old operational weight exactly where it belongs. In the past, 1, becoming aware of your physical body in the chair. 2, feeling the fresh energy and clarity returning to your mind. 3, feeling completely grounded, stable and present in the room. 4, taking a deep, clean, comfortable breath of air. 5, eyes open, alert, present, calm, perfect. Welcome back. You are perfect, just as you are.